Hi, thanks for attending the presentation. My name is Marius, and I'll be talking about my short paper, Modernizing a Legacy Python Research Codebase using UV and Sionna. I used to be with the University of Texas at Austin, and this paper is basically about modernizing some work I did back then. All right, so we'll go into the motivation, and there's basically two main ideas here: how we solve dependency management and how we replace some proprietary or closed source MATLAB simulation with an open source version toolbox called Sionna, which is also in the title of the paper. We'll explain what that means. So this is more of an experience type of paper and experience, right? So it started because I wanted to solve Python's famous dependency hell and refactor this generative model training and evaluation repository. So this is the repo that will be refactored. So it's a fairly complex repo that is about deep learning itself, and it has mechanisms to produce training data, to train a generative model of a certain kind, and to evaluate it. And all this happens inside of wireless communications. Now, because it's wireless, it needs MATLAB. At least at the time, MATLAB was paramount. And one other big motivation for me now when sort of reworking through this refactoring was, can we get rid of MATLAB? Can we bring it all in Python? And another nice thing is that even though the results were not that positive, we were not really able to exactly reproduce much. At least the whole reproducibility experience itself is reproducible because you can find all of it on my YouTube channel. So every line of code that I tried to refactor, that I wrote, even when I wrote the paper, like fully writing the paper itself before submission and addressing the reviews, you can find a YouTube playlist at this QR code. So this is the legacy repo. Like I said, it's we pin the commit ID. Okay, so we know exactly what we want to reproduce, and it trains something that's called a score-based generative model on simulated data, and the data simulation is also inside that repo. And then there's two kinds of evaluation: the quality of generated synthetic data, right? Because it trains a generative model, we can resample data from it. Is it close to the original data? Is the data fidelity good? The problems are that it has MATLAB. So there's a whole MATLAB folder which has some MATLAB scripts. They require MATLAB, but they also require what's called the 5G toolbox. That's a really expensive license. Everything is closed source, and it's not even that well documented. Okay, so it doesn't even have documentation for exact RNG, for example. Another big problem is that this repo used to depend on another repo, and that was just through a hard copy. So not even a Git submodule or not even a properly packaged dependence. And then for dependencies themselves, this repo definitely lived in dependency hell because it just had a plain requirements file. Okay? So the first step was to address actually this last limitation. Let's move the dependencies from just requirements.txt. Let's repackage the repo with UV, okay? So now because the changes were so large, everything is done in this new repo, which is called DiSco MIMO. DiSco stands for diffusion score, and MIMO from a wireless term. But you can see roughly that I make a pretty big claim here, which I'll stand by, is that UV these days pretty much solves Python dependency hell. Okay, so if you don't understand anything from this talk other than this, I think that's fine. Just use UV, okay? Because on the left side is the old requirements file, and it has some, possibly all transitive dependencies, but it's really messy, right? It doesn't have a Python version, it doesn't have dependency groups, etc. On the right side is the new recommended way of specifying Python dependencies to PyProject TOML files, and it just looks a lot better. And there's also a UV log file that pins all the transitive dependencies exactly. Okay, now the other issue we had to address was that hard copy of the dependency that was in the original repo. So that's not good for licensing. That's obviously a bad idea, right? If you depend on some other repo bringing in a complete hard copy is not a good idea. There were two options here. Either a Git submodule or fork the repo ourselves and repackage that repo also with UV. Obviously, because UV, I just claimed that UV solves dependency hell, we went with the second option. So we forked the dependency package, the NCSN v2 repo, and we also deleted a bunch of files from it because we don't really need them. So we minified it, and then we made it pip installable also through UV. So now in the application repo, I can just do a UV add, and I can pin that dependency to an exact commit ID. Okay. Now there is an argument here why a submodule is better. It is true that it's easier to edit during development, but UV also solves that because you can actually specify UV dependencies to point at local folders. Now obviously this is only during development, because if you release this to the world, they'll see your absolute file paths and it's not going to work for them. But again, pretty satisfying experience with UV. Pretty much solves all dependency problems. The last remaining very big step was to replace MATLAB with Sionna. Okay. Now, Sionna is a toolbox open sourced from NVIDIA, very permissive license, no issues there, and it's specialized for wireless communication simulations. And we identified exactly the function that we need. So there's a lot of domain knowledge here, but it's fully open source and it's well documented. And we tried our best to match all the parameters. Now, of course, the interfaces are drastically different than MATLAB's, right? For these so-called wireless channel simulations. The other part is that we also re-implemented all the training logic and the sampling logic from the generative model from scratch, okay? Now, there was also a supporting paper for the original repository. So we didn't just copy the code, we also cleaned the code up, okay? So there's a training part in the upper left here because this is a deep learning paper, right? So then I'm sure there were probably other talks at this conference talking about deep training reproducibility. Well, we kind of cover this here too. And it's a domain specific paper and it implements some reasonably advanced and numerically sensitive signal processing algorithms. There's a bunch of parameters here. This equation looks sort of innocent, but there's a sigma and an index I. And same for the lower right-hand side, the sampling algorithm to actually produce synthetic data. There's about 5 hyperparameters here. So we also used the paper as a guide, and we contrasted. We'll see in the results what happened in the original paper versus the original repo. All right. So the first result is the most basic one. Is Sionna a proper replacement for MATLAB? Not exactly. Okay. So because of the domain, it's also virtually impossible to get pointwise results. So we have to resort to statistical results. So here I'm showing the cumulative distribution functions of what's called a capacity, some sort of metric about aggregated over 10,000 channel samples from the two simulators, okay? So because we have to do statistical results, and ideally we would like these curves to match, okay? So we would like these two distributions to be identical. They still won't be pointwise identical, but they're not even distributionally identical, okay? So after tuning some of those 10 hyperparameters, we think we know where the differences are, but it's impossible at the end of the day because MATLAB is closed source. Now, given these two training data sets, so there are 10,000 training samples now, from MATLAB and from Sionna, the next question we ask is, what if we train two generative models, the MATLAB in the original code base and the Sionna in the completely new code base, and we sample synthetic data from them? So those are the green and red solid curves, respectively. Both code bases are inaccurate because neither of them matches their dashed counterpart, right? So if the original code base produced a very accurate generative model, the green curve should have been very close to the dashed blue curve. That doesn't happen. Same for the other pair of curves, okay? So in some sense, there is similarity, but obviously because the training data itself is different and the training algorithm takes roughly 500 epochs with a certain batch size, this was all matched, the training hyperparameters, learning rates in Atom, batch sizes, number of training steps, normalization of the data and whatnot. even still, because of the different training data and different batching RNG that we can't control, because we also updated PyTorch, there are sort of cascading differences, and we get two inaccurate generative models, which is sort of to be expected. Now, what's more interesting is the final result is that if we look at the original paper, we discover there is a disagreement issue there, okay? So because there's so many numerical parameters in this algorithm, actually the original paper has a set of parameters that produces a much better training model. So we can see the orange curve is what happens if we re-implement in the new code the parameters from the original paper, not from the original code, the green curve. Well, the data fidelity is much better. This is actually starting to look like a very accurate generative model for this application, right? Because the distributions are closer. So overall, there were many knobs. There was also a paper and a code base, but ultimately we fully ported to this new code base, and it's much cleaner, solves dependency issues and whatnot. So UV, we're very pleased with UV. I would recommend everybody to use UV if you use Python. Sionna versus MATLAB. Even if we managed to get all the parameters right, we would have never gotten past the RNG wall, because this is a stochastic application at heart. And ultimately, we're happy with the refactored pipeline. It did not reproduce, but at least now it is by itself fully open source and reproducible. Because Sionna is also pinned to an exact version, which with MATLAB you cannot get. What happens in those toolboxes is a complete mystery. So this was a talk. I hope it was interesting. Probably not that academic, but thank you. And I am open for questions.